I told the guy I'm seeing that, if he isn't ready for a relationship, I'll be seeing other people. He freaked out. What to do? So I've been seeing this guy for a few weeks. It felt like he was interested in a relationship with me, communication was there, he brought me gifts from his vacation, he comforted me when I was feeling down, we went on dates, he gave me all the time I needed for intimacy. Everything was going very well. I started to realize I am catching feelings for him. So I told him that I am starting to like him and that I would like to start dating him with the intention of getting to know each other for a relationship. He said he can't say yes or no to that, because he just got out of a relationship and isn't interested in something serious actually. Hurt, but fine. Not going to convince him otherwise. So I told him that our expectations were different and that I didn't want to waste my time and wished him all the best and cut off contact. He reached out again a few days later and said he just meant that he didn't know me well enough for a relationship. So we met up and talked about the situation. There he told me he missed me, he wanted to keep seeing me. I hesitated but agreed, since I do like him. On this day he said not being ready for a relationship and not knowing each other well enough is basically the same. The next day I asked him if he thought that both statements really are the same and he said no, of course not. But that both apply to him, but the second, us not knowing each other well enough, is the main one. I told him that I wanted to give him space, and since he doesn't really know what he wants, I would like to keep seeing other people, since I am not going to wait around if he eventually is going to decide if he is ready or not. He freaked out, telling me that if I wanted to see other people I should just go ahead and maybe I would find a guy who instantly says yes to me, since this seems to be what I want. I told him no, that's not the case. I just want to give him his space, but not put my life on hold for his decision. He said that it's completely bullshit and just because it isn't going fast enough for me. Which isn't true. I would like to go slow as well, but for me there's a huge difference between let's go slow and I'm not ready for a relationship in general. I said that if he had a problem with my decision we could talk it out like adults, and he said no, not gonna talk you out of it. If that's how you see it, go for it. He then dropped the topic and didn't want to talk it out. Later on he stopped replying and hasn't reached out since. How should I go from here? Did I put too much pressure on him by telling him I wanted to see other people? Did I ruin my chances with him? Comment. Move on. What he wanted was the freedom to play the field while you sat home pining for him. You saying that if he wasn't interested in being exclusive you'd see other people wounded his ego. You see, you're supposed to want nothing but him. It's supposed to be him who is unsure of you because that's where the power is. You will never have a happy ending with this guy. He's toying with you. Sounds like your first reaction was the correct one. He isn't ready, but you want to find someone who is, and so you're gonna see other people. He does seem to really like you and doesn't want to lose his opportunity with you, but you also can't just put your life on hold for a maybe later. Sometimes the timing just isn't right. Some people want you to wait to see if they will catch feelings and you didn't want to. They will get upset that you are not willing to wait around on them. Perhaps it is a lack of respect for others' values. You were honest about you not waiting to wait around and he didn't like that you were like that. You cannot make others feel the same or understand the same as you do, that is a universal truth. Finding someone who does is the goal. Think about if someone said to you I am afraid he is going to hurt me, what would you say to them? Perhaps think about trusting yourself, and those feelings of being afraid mean something. Perhaps you are not ready for someone who is nice but is also traumatized. Maybe look into trauma bonding or how people pleasing, i.e. fixing other people, can get you into looking after's mental health first. It doesn't hurt to understand how it works to protect yourself from falling into that trap. I am glad you are seeing someone. I would show them your thoughts and see what they say. Best wishes. I feel like you want us to be like BC. This is like a rom-com where he actually really likes you but is scared and is pushing you away. Maybe if you try harder and spend more time with him love will blossom. But rom-coms lie. Sometimes dudes just do things enough so you'll sleep with them and give them an ego boost, not BC they care about your feelings. He's mad because he wanted to continue enjoying benefits from you without commitment, and you won't let him. He didn't get what he wanted. He doesn't want you to date other people, because he wants the benefits all to himself whenever he wants it, but he doesn't want to date you either. Just because he's mad he didn't get his selfish desire doesn't mean you did anything wrong. The trash took itself out. I applaud you for standing up for what you want and refusing to settle for a situation that doesn't benefit you. You know your worth. I've been there, and I regret all the time I've wasted on people who weren't ready, because they never get ready. I wish I'd had the self-respect to be like you. Forget him, and move on to someone who wants to commit to you. You've been seeing each other for a few weeks. Effectively, that means a few dates. You are right in being clear about what you want, but you might have moved a bit fast with "tell me if you're ready to move towards a relationship." After a few weeks, you start seeing glimpses of a person on their best behavior and fill in the rest with wishful thinking. He was right about not knowing each other enough, but could also mean he wasn't as smitten as you were. You could keep seeing other people until you both decided to be serious about each other. But his communication and refusal to discuss is a more worrying factor. Dude was comfortable being casual with you. You took that off the table and now he is panicking, trying to find some way to manipulate you into staying. He outright stated he didn't want something serious. Now he is backpedaling and twisting things to make it sound like if you hold out long enough then maybe you can get a relationship. He is not going to commit to you. Many men claim dating is near impossible for them. So likely he saw his last glimmer of an attractive, appealing woman fading out and wanted to cling to it, without committing. Next story 2. Wife has ex-husband legal debt. Expects me to pay for it? What is my obligation here? Wife of 2 years, her third marriage, my second, wants/expects me to loan her the money or pay the legal bills her ex-husband is racking up as he attacks her through the court system. What is my obligation here? Wife had a very loose parenting plan for years regarding her under 10-year-old son. She moved out of state to live with me and brought her son. Her ex-husband loves his son, however, he is financially irresponsible and has made half a dozen questionable and poor choices. I.e. quit his job 2 years ago, with no effort to re-employ, lives in a 2-room shed that he halfway remodeled with his girlfriend and her 2 kids, refuses to pay for his son's expenses, child support, or judgments from multiple lost frivolous motions. She attempted to reconfigure the parenting plan. He has no interest in it and has instead deployed a hostile scorched earth strategy. They got a gal recommended plan that states the boy lives with us during the school year and lives with him during the summer. The ex is also under a 1-year restraining order for stalking. He legally represents himself, with 100+ page manifestos, and is in general a bully, overcomplicating everything and hell-bent on destroying her via the courts, emotionally and/or financially by exhausting her ability to pay in the hopes she gives up. It's really tough to see. To date she has spent $40,000 on legal fees in 1 year. She took an extra job, borrowed $30,000 from me and has paid me back $15,000. Now, she needs an additional $20,000 to pay the legal retainer required for trial. She has no savings or credit available to continue this fight. Her P/T second job has ended. We split our monthly shared household/car expenses equally, with all extra income or expenses being handled at the discretion of the earner/debt holder. I walked into this marriage after a very expensive divorce from first wife, along with a massive monthly alimony. We have a prenup. I never asked for or received any financial assistance from her for my ex-spouse issues. I have a 10mo emergency expenses fund from which I've loaned her $15,000, and after paying off 3 years of alimony in one lump sum to my ex-spouse, my monthly cash flow has breathing room after shared expenses. I have taken the position from day one that I will not take responsibility for any of her debt created with or by her ex-husband. Each of them are not good with money or responsibility. I do contribute above and beyond our mutually shared expenses when needed for things like medical bills, house repairs, travel, or other budget overruns. Now, she is coming to me asking for $20,000 in addition to the $15,000 I have loaned her. I am not comfortable loaning more than $20,000 toward this cause, which would be total cost of $35,000 fronted by me, and I am not of the mindset that this should even be my financial responsibility. I said no, my maximum is $20,000. Her response to my no has been filled with hostility, disappointment, distance, and attacks over an unstated expectation. I'm drowning and you are throwing me a float toy. She sees any money in an account as available money to spend on this. I don't want to loan her the money, which would mean having her indebted to me for 4 years, along with emotions and resentment that I didn't just gift it to her. I don't think it's right to expect me to pay for costs associated with one of her ex-husbands. What is my obligation in this situation? Comment. You're not obligated to do anything. That money is ridiculous. Do not give her a cent. I'd get your own lawyer. Was none of this discussed before you got married? Sucks, but somewhat understandable. I'm sure your wife wouldn't want her kid moving who knows how far away either. She'll have to tighten her belt and make do with cheaper legal help, probably. This trial might very well not be the end of it. Adverse custodial fights can go on for years, and he's not wasting money on lawyers so he can keep it up. Self-representing with the help of a paralegal, or periodic guidance from a lawyer, isn't the ideal situation by far, but if that's all she can afford, that's what she'll have to do. Her lawyer can't be cheat living manifesto writing guy for that much money. Dude, that's the worst lawyer ever. Get her to go to her state child support, which is usually separate from family court. If he's not paying, they will garnish his wages. If he's married and filing jointly with his wife, they will garnish her tax refund to pay for his back child support. It stinks, but there are no financial or legal repercussions for his frivolous lawsuits. It's not worse than what he's doing to her. He's already ruined the loose, friendly arrangement they had. Tell her to get serious. As someone who lives paycheck to paycheck, I 100% can't imagine spending that much fighting a lunatic. She needs to very seriously rethink her whole approach. Yes, fighting for your kid is noble and should be a huge priority, but you can't go into super debt and expect someone else to just shove more than 25% of America makes in a year into your hands. You see, here's my thing about this: you're saying indebted to you and all this, you are married to her, and that means a partnership. What's yours is mine and vice versa. That's what marriage literally is. I mean more than that, but it is part of it. I mean honestly, the judge will likely side with him. It sounds like your ex is harassing her and making her life difficult, but not the son, so as long as he's not a danger to the boy, the judge will likely go by what the gal says, unless she can come up with a gal or even a CPS worker to say he or his home is not suitable for the child. Fact he's not paying child support is probably a matter for the child support enforcement agency where he is. As for loaning her money, no. She needs to start looking for another part-time job then if she wants to continue this, but having worked for both a gal family law attorney and CPS, I think she will likely lose. I hear what people are saying here, that technically you have no obligation, but you married her. Leaving aside that she can legally just empty any joint accounts, how serious is this to her? Would she divorce you over it? Because then you're really fucked. You're in an enormously shitty spot, my dude. Based on her reaction, I fear she's going to bleed you dry either way. You have to figure out what's cheaper. You say everything in an account. What account is this? How much is in it? Or do you just mean anything in any accounts? I assume it wasn't shared and was yours prior to the marriage. Do you have other assets in your name only? Again, anything joint she can just take. How much do you think this legal battle can ultimately cost? Is there any ending in sight? She can't possibly be assuming you're just going to pay forever, can she? At some point you take the L, right? As an aside, this one is a great example of why even regular people need a prenup.